once again, and welcome to another edition of the Souls of Black Folk Broadcast. I'm your host, Student Minister Rodney Muhammad here in the city of Philadelphia, and my co-host, Student Minister Michael Muhammad there from the great Atlantic City, New Jersey. And so we're back again, Brother Michael, to do another episode, and we try to bring relevant issues to you. We want to remind you to go to noi.org, noi.org. And you are able to get a catalog of all the activity springing from the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan there at the Nation of Islam. Our webcasts you can learn about the Final Call bookstore, publications that you can order, Final Call radio that's on 24/7, and the Final Call newspaper, a publication you should have in your home. Sold in your city weekly, but you can get a digital subscription, which we strongly urge you to do. And then you're able to pull up every current edition right there. You can learn all the activity of the Nation of Islam that's going on, and a lot of topics and a lot of important information and updates from that newspaper. So we welcome you to do that. We also welcome you to join us every Sunday. If you're here in this metropolitan area, Mosque number 12 has reopened, and so we're doing our subjects every Sunday right there at Facebook Live, Mosque number 12, Student Minister Rodney Muhammad. And of course, we're on a Quality of Life series. Our book, The National Agenda, provided by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's direction, from the Million Family March, has been our tool for follow-up of the great community work and effort of the Nation of Islam. It's called The National Agenda. And so we're on the Quality of Life series. And of course, with the spike of murders going nationwide in most of our major cities in that, we're talking about somebody is trying to kill
you. That's right.
And, we're not saying just stop the killing. We know it's happening at our hand, but this is all manufactured. It's a science of evil. We have to talk about it at its root. Branch knowledge will not hold the weight of our condition today. So tonight, we're happy to have with us and to talk about something that too many of us don't talk about. It's the big elephant in the room, Black male-female relationships.
That's right.
How in the heck is a church going to make it? How in the heck is a mosque going to make it? How can an organization make it? How are we going to make all these great strides and bring about this great social change when everything that we build will be comprised of men and women? And we don't talk about their relationship one to the other. And so I'm remembering that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in his monumental book, Message to the Black Man, said that the slave master had, in the slave making process, he had effectively destroyed the natural love between the black man and the black woman. So I'm just we're taking this time during COVID to really take a deeper dive into his words and parse them and look at them. And he said there was a natural love that existed.
That's right.
Have we restored a natural love, or is it something modified or something? So we have to talk about all of that today. And we have with us two great people who have, I say in a courageous way, they've taken on this. It's an unending discussion about marriage, about the male-female relationship. And that's Brother Marcus and Sister Cecelia Muhammad. And we're going to talk about the 11th annual marriage retreat. So they've been doing this 11 years, you all. And, so we want to talk about it. So Brother Marcus, Sister Cecelia, welcome to the Souls of Black Folk Broadcast.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And
Walaikum.
so we're so happy to have you, and I thank you for calling me and saying that you all would be available to come on so we could talk about it this year. This marriage institution it's one of the original institutions from God Almighty. I mean, when folks get married, if they're not running down to City Hall, they're looking for clergy, some clergy person, some person that deals with scripture and sacred writing, to be the person to join them together ceremonially in that. But I've got some other questions to talk about, but I think maybe we should probably start off with you all just telling us how you started this and what we can expect in this 11th annual marriage retreat.
Wonderful, brother. I'm so happy to be on your show. You all are doing a wonderful work for the Nation of Islam.
Thank you.
We are so very happy about what we are doing this morning. I'd like to also begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I too bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. To say,
and assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa
I
alaikum
too
salam.
bear witness that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his messenger as well. Well, how it got started was that we have a process in our Nation of Islam where we do courtship. And so with doing courtship, anytime there are events for our single brothers and sisters, married couples chaperone it. And so a sister was doing some events and she realized that a lot of couples she was dealing with were in some type of marital issues, some type of marital concerns or problems, or even divorce. And she approached my husband and said, Brother Marcus, you know what? I would love for you to be a facilitator for a marriage retreat, because she was already an event planner. Sister Deborah X. Washington out of Memphis, Tennessee, approached my husband over 11 years ago. And so for the first 4 retreats, she hosted it, she did it. And then she was like, you know what? I'm done at the 4th one. So we continued it on by Allah's grace and mercy, because we saw the benefits of assisting other people through that process. When you have knowledge, and like we know in the nation, that we share it to help elevate and bring people up to the next level. So what someone may have learned over 40 years or 50 years, and then you have newlyweds and those beginning the process of marriage, to all be in one room, one place, and all of that knowledge and information is being shared. It helps to strengthen you, and you have lifelong friends because you're all in that process of marriage.
and what we do, Brother Minister Rodney, is we share advanced relationship skills. We share the stuff that a lot of us don't think much of, but it's the keys to relationship, like civility, like being civil as you are working with your spouse to accomplish an objective, talking nice to your spouse. That's a advanced relationship skill, because so many of us, we tend to act a little stranger with by ourselves with our partner. But when we bring us together, Minister Abdul, what's his name? The minister, well, he's formerly Minister Tony out of Los Angeles. He said, this is a very powerful point. He said, we tend to act better when we have company. And that's very, very true. We need to get together because we inspire you to get married in the Nation of Islam. But it's the other side of it. It's okay, what happens after you inspire, you get married, you take that leap of faith. Okay, all praise is due to Allah. You've done it. Now what do I do? And a lot of times that really becomes the issue, especially for us as brothers, for us as men, because we are expected to lead in the marriage. The sister don't marry us because she want to continue doing what she's doing, she said, "Oh my God, my help has come." When
Right.
she gets us as men, as brothers. But so many of us don't know how to lead in our marriages, and we defer to her almost in everything, brother. And that is a great crime. We've written a book for our men on leadership and what leadership looks like in 2021, especially for our sisters.
And what is the name of your book, Brother
It's
Marcus?
how to lead your wife and family during these trying times.
And where can our audience get it from, brother?
Very simply, at the same website, you're going to register for this 11th annual marriage retreat, www.themarriagekeepers.com. It's www.themarriagekeepers.com.
Perfect. Now, our audience will probably want to know, how long have the two of you been married?
Oh, come on now. We've been married for 29 long years.
Yes, sir. Me too. Allah.
We were high school sweethearts, brother.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And I was 15 and she was 14. And I told her when I was 15, she reminded me of this, that one day we were going to be married and our first child was going to be a boy.
Wow.
And it happened just like that, brother. It happened just like that. I wasn't a prophet or nothing like that. I don't know where it came from, but I told her, I knew instantly when I met her, instantly, that she was the one that I was going to marry. She didn't believe it at all. She was like, "Nah, we gonna date, but you ain't the one."
Right. Now let me interject just to say, Brother Rodney is probably having some technical difficulties, but to our listening audience, he will be back on, and then we'll continue. But we'll continue until he comes back on. You know, Brother Marcus, Sister Cecelia, that is a beautiful, beautiful testimony, because so many people, particularly those of us that come into the Nation of Islam and come into this type of knowledge, you know, courtship, marriage, where it is a very strong emphasis for us, because family is the Black man and the Black woman's power base.
Come on now.
So so many of us have tried and failed, and to see a Black man and a Black woman see each other at such a young age and fall in love, I think that is a beautiful, beautiful example. And it further qualifies you to really speak on this subject because of your expertise with one another and with God. So if you could tell us a little more about what we can expect with this 11th annual marriage retreat.
All right, see.
Well, and also to add to that, when he said 29 years, we also have 6 children. So they range in age from 28 to 17, and it's 4 boys and 2 girls. So we have 6 children with our union. What people can expect at the marriage retreat is an interactive marriage retreat where our participants receive a 50-page booklet. Every year it's a different booklet. So and we do have people who come back year after year after year because you learn something. And like I said, it's nothing like, I remember one brother, and the brother stated, he said, my wife has been trying for years to get me to come to this marriage retreat. And he said, I kept saying, no, 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 no. And he said, this year, I said, okay, baby. He said, I surprised her. I got registered us and everything. And he said she was so excited. And he said to himself while he was standing up, he said, I regret that I did not come when my wife originally asked. He was like, this is like Savior's Day for our marriages. Where you are receiving knowledge, wisdom, and understanding our way of life and how to implement what we are taught. Because the reality is we are recovering in the process Negroes. So the personal jihad, the personal battle of fighting the Negro of self, as you're trying to knock out that falsehood that we've been living in to bring in God's way, that's the true battle in our marriages. So that's why God, and we help people to understand that if you don't have God in your marriage, Honorable Louis Farrakhan has told us, we are not sufficient for each other. So we go into communication, we go into finances, and this year, the last couple of years, we're going to go into credit restoration, credit repair. This year, our couples will actually be pulling their own credit reports, and our expert, Brother Dawood Muhammad, will be helping them to correct their own credit report. Sister Melissa Muhammad and her husband, Brother Albert, out of D.C., will be helping our couples put together an actual budget for themselves and their family. We have our National Assistant Minister, Brother Minister Ishmael Muhammad, inshallah, our sister Dr. Ava Muhammad. So we have a Brother Minister Patrick, our regional representative from the 7th region. And it's so important that Minister Abdul Sharif, our Southern Regional Minister here in Atlanta where we are. So it's so important because, like I said, normally we don't have access to our ministers like we want to, so to be able to be with them for 4 days and be able to listen to them talk and answer questions that are concerning couples. And I never forget, another brother said, I thought this was a throw-up session. I thought they were going to be talking about my business. I'm like, brother, this is not that type of set. Why would we waste 4 days to talk about you? And we was and he was like, the way things were done, and that one person said the love was so thick in the room, they could not believe it. But I think the most powerful thing for us is that we learn, and it helps to strengthen us, because again, when you're around people who are in that process and you are always like a child wanting to learn more. And that's why the minister told us, you are not married, you're in the process of marriage, which means it's continual movement, continual growth. And that's what marriage is. And we tell couples all the time, brother, last year, the last probably 4 years or so, we've had couples come and say, you know what, the divorce papers are on our table. And they're like, we're being honest. The divorce papers are on our table. And by Allah's power, not our power, He just uses us as best. He uses us to do His will, because we know it's not us, it's Allah that's able to help the couples to see that you can continue. You just needed some tools to help you to get over the hurdle. And that's what we want couples to understand wherever you are. That's why you see it behind us. Fight for your marriage. Fight for your marriage means that you are doing whatever is required to help your marriage be healthy and be happy. And you as the husband, you as the wife have the power to do that, but you got to put the work in.
Right. Now, for our listening audience, Sister Cecelia mentioned Brother Patrick, Student Regional Minister Patrick. You all mentioned Student Regional Minister Sharif. You mentioned Student Minister Regional Minister Abdul Malik, Saeed Muhammad. Now, what they mean for those brothers and sisters that are not in the nation is that there's representation from all over America that will be at this marriage retreat.
And we want to say, brother, that we have recently acquired Minister from Philadelphia. Him.
Rodney.
Minister Rodney is going to be doing our khutbah.
Right.
He's going to share with us his message.
Right.
So we look forward to hearing what he has to tell us as well.
Right. And also, I saw one of my best friends and good brothers, Student Minister Henry Muhammad from Brooklyn.
but
Muhammad
he is
7C.
not going to be able to be there
Really?
because he has to work. But
Oh,
he
okay.
certainly has. We're giving him freedom to come to whatever he can
Great.
to
Great.
teach whatever he wants to teach us.
And to the listener, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We can.
Sorry about that. There's going to be representation from all over America, and in the seventh region, well, the Florida and the Caribbean, etc. So we'll have representation. So the question that I do have for you all is, you know, the divorce rate has skyrocketed, has been continually skyrocketing, and especially among young people, they don't go into marriage. They're more geared to talk more about this common law type of practice of marriage.
Yeah, living together.
But and I know that many brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam will be present. Is this something that is also open and available to brothers and sisters that are not in the Nation of Islam?
Absolutely, but you must be a couple.
Okay.
We're not practicing none of, we don't have no knowledge of how to have a same-sex marriage. We don't teach none of that.
Go ahead.
Making sure everybody knows that this is for couples who are in the process of marriage, husband and wife. And this year we are accepting courtship couples who are on their way to marriage. They've already given a ring. That's how we know that it's official. It's getting ready to be official. It's for them so they'll know what they're coming into in the future. But yes, this is definitely a wonderful idea to learn more about marriage. The reason that so many people are getting divorced because their word doesn't mean anything. The vow of marriage, you see, you know, Minister Rodney mentioned that people are going to judges and they're going to this one and that one. They're not going to religious people. But I want you to think about the fact that when you go to religious people, your vow that you are making to her is before God. And you have to be very mindful that the minister said to us, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he said that when a vow is made, he said the total focus of our entire being is to carry out our word. See, that is the whole problem in 2021. Our entire being is not to carry out our word to our marriage. We are people who we get divorced way too quickly. And Allah hates divorce.
Right.
We have many articles from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that should make us all say, I'm going to fight for my marriage. You know, I look at a beautiful picture that someone posted on Facebook, Minister Rodney. Minister Louis Farrakhan, our leader has been married for 68 years.
That's right.
Come on.
Now, everybody who's with Minister Farrakhan, we should ask ourselves, can I fight for 8 years? Can I fight for 18 years? For 28 years? Have I fought as long as Minister Farrakhan has been fighting for his marriage? He is our leader. He is fighting every day for his marriage. And I just want you all to know that I don't want to disgrace our minister
Right.
by not even trying to save my marriage. And by the grace of Allah, me and Cecelia, we've reached 29 years
Praise.
of marriage by Allah's grace. And I can tell you, it's not easy. You know, they sing that song in the church, I'm coming up on the left side of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be before the minister talking about marriage and then I'm divorced. No, I gotta fight for my marriage. And we can help you to overcome in your marriage things that you thought that you could not overcome.
So real fast, brothers and sisters, our listening audience, we have our student regional minister, Brother Rodney, back.
I have some
disappeared for a minute, brother minister.
I'm happy to be back, and I heard you just firing off. You made me think of something that it's recorded that Prophet Muhammad said that marriage was one half of the faith.
Come on, buddy. That's right.
It takes me back to a special message that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave to us. I think it was called "How Do You Mend a Broken Heart?"
Yes, that's right.
Found that people falling away from marriage were actually falling away from the faith altogether.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, so
that's so true.
You see and I heard you mentioning the commitment, and I think that's where there's a lot of struggle. Do you all pay attention to the overall thing? I know that we're in an age where a lot of reality TV programming is centered around romance and people coming together and everything. And the scripture says in the days of Noah, so will it be in the last days. And of course, there was violence in the earth and that, but it also said, in addition to tearing down and building up, that they were marrying and giving away in marriage. So you see these large bachelor programs where they're giving people away in marriage with the $1 million prize and this. But I just wondered, do you have any comment about some of the reality programming? Some of it is trying to bring couples together, and some of it is people who have already been together, really trying to get down to what's bringing the friction in their relationships and that.
Well, I can tell you that scripture that you just quoted also says that God destroyed the people because the imagination of their hearts was continually to do evil. That is the problem. It's the evil that's in the people's hearts, the people's minds regarding marriage. This is a sleep around culture. And they promote sleeping around, and I'll take your wife from you and all this kind of stuff. I'll take your husband for you. Your husband want me and not you. I'm listening to the songs, and it's disgusting that this is being played on the airways of God. And you are listening to it, and if that is in your mind already, it's further encouraging you to go ahead, do your thing. Do your thing. The word.
I'm also thinking, Brother Marcus and Sister Cecelia, I'm thinking too, we're at a time where we're talking about our challenges with wealth in the Black community, and then their comparatives of white households, Black households, and our net worth. And of course, we're light years away from the average white household now. And they cite a lot of things that as for reasons of this big wealth gap. But I think we never talk about when a household breaks up, there's an erosion of our wealth building power, because the man and woman are not together now. They're separated, and they have to find ways to take what income they're able to generate and use to sustain themselves and any children that may be with one or the other or both.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's a terrible thing. Divorce is so hard on a family. And women are a lot of times the losers, because when a man is earning a great sum of money and the wife, a lot of us, we are married, but we don't know nothing about the finances of the marriage. We don't even know how he pays bills, how the bills are paid. You better know in your marriage how bills get paid. You better know what he actually does, what she actually does. You better find out. When we are getting married, we have to be honest and open with each person. And divorce, and I have to say this, brother ministers, the Nation of Islam cannot afford one more divorce. We have to have that as our standard.
Come on.
No divorce in this nation. That is what Minister Farrakhan told us. He told us that we should avail ourselves of whatever resources we can before we get divorced.
And we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
And even for couples, by God's grace, that we have did one-on-one counseling, because we do pre-courtship, we do marital, we do all of it. And one thing we are finding is how you go into the relationship in the first place. You have to understand. And even when we deal with our brothers and sisters who are single in the courtship process, what is your mindset? Are you looking for a lifetime partner? Because if I'm looking for a lifetime partner, that means I have to study myself. I have to look at where I'm going. What's my goals? What's my aspirations? Where do I want to live in 5 years, 10 years? What do I want to do? Do I want a business? You have to, that process of lifelong partner now, I'm looking for a partner to death do us part, instead of, well, if it don't work out, I'm out of here. Most people we find are going into a marriage with, if this don't work out, they got an escape plan before they even are in the marriage. You're going in with an escape plan, because what we have seen, like the minister said, we have seen dysfunctional relationships. They were not healthy. They were toxic, and we did not avail ourselves of the information. We know in the Black community, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, all of our Black leaders have known and do know that we all have a mental imbalance. Why do we have a mental imbalance? Because of the injustice, the lack of freedom, the lack of equality that we have received in the hells of North America. So you already imbalanced there. Then you have a relationship where you may see your mother, your father. That's another imbalance. The pains that you went through in your personal life, that's another imbalance. So now both of us who are imbalanced are coming together to try to get balance. So what is our anchor? What helps us to come out of such a thing? And it's a process, like we're taught, of self-improvement. And that is the real issue in the marriages. Sister Cecelia came with her issue. Brother Marcus came with his issues. And when your spouse lives with you, they see all of your dysfunction. You cannot hide that from the person who sleeps with you. And if I'm lying to myself about my dysfunctions, and my spouse has said, baby, this is a problem. If you have a problem with lying, you were lying for 30, 40 years. You lie so much yourself, you've convinced yourself of your lies. So now you marry a wife and she asks you a question, you lie, and you're arguing about what? About the deficiency that you don't tell the truth. That had nothing to do with your wife. That had nothing to do with your husband. But when we are serious, that's what the marriage retreat is all about, is helping us to peel the layers off and speak straight words, straight to myself, straight to my wife, and listen to what my wife is saying. What is her need? Listen to my husband to see what the need is that I may be deficient in. My wife, I may be telling my husband, I need more quality time. You don't have no time for me. We don't go on date night. We don't go away. It's just children, work, moms, this, that, and we're talking, but your spouse is telling you a need. So we're helping people to slow down and analyze your life, your marriage specifically. You're zoning in on your marriage and your relationship. Okay, this year we're a little weak here, but when you come back the next year, where are you at? Have we grown? Have we progressed? Did we put goals? Because if your marriage doesn't have a goal in it, you're at each other. We don't have nothing, so we're at each other. No, let's stop being at each other. A husband and wife is a team. You are united front. So the team got to what? The coach put the team in a huddle. Let's come together. Let's make this happen. We got to do this and get the ball over there. Whatever the case is, that's just like your marriage. You have a goal. One of the first goals is praying together, getting your strength together, because that's the first. We have what we call a marriage diagnostic that everybody takes. And the first section is spiritual. If you're not praying, if you're not fasting, if you're not reading something to help you to have God's wisdom, because what we have is not sufficient. I don't care if you have 10 PhDs. God's wisdom must be the cornerstone of it all, or we will fail, because the moral character has to be checked. And in this wicked world, they're not checking moral character. So for me to be married to you and have 4 girlfriends over here, it's no problem. That's what I like. But the thing is, are you at peace? Because that's chaos. That's not peace. The stress of 4 women, 5 women, baby, and then they may have different children, and vice versa. With us, you have more than one man, and you balancing this and back. That's stress.
A lot of stress in the Black community. Because we're living other than what we're supposed to live. We know that we're off.
Go ahead, brother Michael.
I was going to say, brother Marcus, Sister Cecelia, it reminds me of a lecture that the minister did. I may have been 2008, maybe 2009. It was on divorce, a threat to national security.
Yeah.
And very, very powerful lecture, and I believe it was just internal to the Muslim community in the Nation of Islam. My question is, 2 questions. The first is, during this pandemic, COVID-19, in the Nation of Islam, we were all kind of quarantined, just like the rest of the world. And we've been asked to kind of directly by the minister to go into our chambers. And if someone is, going through it in their marriage, now you're forced to look at one another face to face and deal with one another every single day. And you both being counselors and experts in your field and continuing to grow together, or subject matter experts, what have you seen? Have you seen that this quarantine, this going into the chamber, has helped us as a nation?
Well, it has the potential to help, but a lot of times it's a hindrance because we don't know how to speak well. The average human being speaks 400 words well. And that's out of a 60,000 word dictionary. There are a lot of words, but most of us know little words like is and the and go and stop. We don't know big words. We don't know how to express ourselves. The one thing that we are good at as Black men specifically is rage. We love the Hulk because we are Hulks ourselves. And I think that one of the most valuable things that we can have in our life as black men is an intelligent black woman who
Mm-hmm.
knows how to deal with us.
Mhm.
See, I think the skills that our sisters need in 2021 is you got to know how to talk to a black man. You got to know how to not set him off because you know he crazy as hell. So you got to know how to talk to his mind and calm him down. And I think that a lot of that is the problem because if you know who is that? My sister, the president's wife, Michelle Obama. She said, "When you go high, we go low. When you go low, we go high." That whole concept with men is very important. You got to watch what he's saying, how he's coming at it. When he's up there high, don't go there with him. We've heard that from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He
Yeah.
said, don't go with him. If he going crazy, let him go by himself. Don't you
Mm-hmm.
go and antagonize him. A lot of times we don't know how to not antagonize them because our women, they're not used to going low. They used to, I'm a match show energy. You come at me wrong, I'm gonna come at you wrong. And so forth and so forth. That whole idea is, I think, a big problem in quarantining now. We gotta learn to talk nicer to
Yeah.
each other.
Now, a question for both of you. I'm going to go back to something Sister Cecelia said about how you go into these relationships.
Yes.
Um, so maybe 39, 40 years ago when I came with the minister, and then I saw someone of interest, I now that I go back as I'm listening to you, I ended up talking to 3 people before going into a courtship with it. The first one was my captain. Then the captain said, "Okay, brother, I'll get back to you. I'm going to talk to the sister captain." And then when they talked to her, the captain wanted to know because we hadn't gotten Stony Island yet, but I was one of those soldiers. Once I came in, I jumped in with all 4 feet. So every time the door opened, I was there. He wanted to make sure I wasn't getting ready to get tied up with somebody who was going to pull me away from duty, you know. But um, and then Minister Akbar, of course, was Minister Farrakhan's assistant, but Minister Farrakhan was my mosque minister. So the sister's father had died. So Brother Akbar uh, had me in the office to talk to me. And I'm wondering if we still are practicing a process. I tried to duplicate in the mosque in Philadelphia what I saw when I was coming up in the final call building after we got the final call building. Um, the it seems that a man, if he's going to court a woman, and of course in the nation, we're courting with the intent to marry.
Right.
Uh, But we're finding out we have these points of compatibility, and things that we can work with. It's still going to be a challenge either way you go. But
Yes.
how many women in the Nation of Islam right now are marrying a man that had to talk with a man before he married her?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're in an age where we have a lot of female-headed households, whether they used to be married and divorced and that, but how many people are just getting married? And it's almost like we don't have, I'm concerned with the process of how we're coming into this, because just like you said, somebody's ready to get in your face, Brother Marcus, with this, that, and the other, and go there with you. Um, that same attitude says, I don't need nobody telling me what to do in managing my love life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
So
that's that
yeah, go ahead, sister.
that is the attitude for a lot, and that's why the structure, that's one thing why we speak about the structure of our nation, is that you consult with, you talk with the brother captain, the sister captain, your regional minister. You speak with them because, again, you want to know about this person's foundation. And your foundation should be your way of life, which is Islam. It's not that, oh, I could take it off and put it on. No, this is your way of life. This is your filter. Everything filters through your way of life. So we always speak about the structure, and if they're and really if you're in a setting where the father, to even speak with the father before you even put in the papers, to ask his permission. Sir, I'm interested in your daughter and I would like to, because again, you speaking with her father,
which
to
is exactly
let
where I'm
him
going.
know, to let him know that you are interested in his daughter. Especially if you're in the same mosque, the same city, or if you go to the city. And social media now has flipped things upside down and inside out. I could slide in your DM and talk to you all hours of the night, and again, these are things that we say our structure has not changed because of social media. It is to protect the brother and protect the sister.
And you got to seek knowledge. You got to be a person that wants to know. They used to have a ad when I grew up in New York City. So Cecelia, they used to have a saying that came on TV: inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring. See, you have to be an inquiring person to want to know things. I love knowledge. I love learning things. I love being able to express things to my family. But now, the average brother, you got to ask yourself, is this man inquiring? Do you want to talk to another black man and learn what he has to tell you? A lot of us as men, especially our younger brothers, we like, nah, nigga, I don't want to hear nothing he got to say. That's right. The attitude of so many of our young brothers. And I tell you, we suffering because the elders, the older men, are not giving counsel and guidance to the young men. And I think that that's a problem. That I've found how to come at them in the most positive way, productive way. And I found that humility is the way to come at these young brothers. Because if they think that you something special, I'm going to show you I don't think nothing of you or your mama even. So you come humbly.
But we have classes that, part of our structure, as Sister Cecelia said, we have classes. If I'm a man and I'm going to something every Monday night, if many of those Monday nights, even if it's only 10 or 15 minutes as a part of a set of workshops, I'm learning better how to be a man, how to be a man for a woman in my life, or something's being shared. The minister said once, he lifted a passage from the Holy Quran saying men are the maintainers of women. He wanted that to be the foundation of the FOI training.
It is.
And part of what makes a man feel successful, of course, he wants to make money, he wants to achieve things in the world, but to be a failure with his woman, will certainly make him feel defeated no matter what he's achieved.
That's exactly right, brother.
This is an area where I'm thinking he wants to be more victorious. Because of scripture says in those days, a man's enemies will be those of his own household. So he can't run home from the enemy. He's running home to it.
And that's the thing, brother, minister. They created an alternative universe for black men called the strip club. They said in the strip club, and you watch all the movies that have come out since about 2000 has come in here, it always ends up some kind of way. They end up in the strip club. That's how they say men relax, men have fun. Well, You have to think about that as a sister who got a husband.
Mm-hmm.
You have to not do what the strip club do, but you gotta be invested in your mind in terms of how am I gonna keep my husband out of the strip club mentality. And a lot of times sisters gotta know how their husband moves, how he thinks, and the thing that we have to share with our beautiful sisters is they gotta learn to be more encouraging. Encouragement is something that's sorely lacking among our sisters. And the more encouragement you give a black man can do anything with encouragement,
With
proper
encouragement.
encouragement. Yes, we can.
So with
But
the
if you
few
don't
minutes
encourage
we
us,
have,
we ain't doing nothing.
yeah, with the few minutes we have left, so we come to this annual retreat. What can a couple expect when they come? Is it more than one day? Is it what's the date? And again, and let us know how
Is
they
it too late to sign up, by the way?
No, it's not late at all. They can still sign up at www.themarriagekeepers.com. They can go right to the website to register for the marriage retreat. And what they can expect is an interactive workshop. Come prepared to be honest to your spouse, because we go through things, we like we said, communication, finances, credit, how we're dealing with just a whole interaction of different, and listening to the different presenters. And then, like I said, because the environment is virtual, it's all online, so you don't have to travel, you don't have to fly, you don't have to worry about wearing your mask, you're in your home comfortably. Last year, we had some couples who said, you know what, we just gonna go to a hotel and leave the house, So we had some couples who said, we're gonna use this because it's from a Thursday, the 26th, to the Sunday, the 29th of August.
Okay.
And so a lot of our couples, it's a 4-day interactive workshop. And again,
it's not boring though. We can promise you that.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
Absolutely not. And they can go on our website and see testimonials. We put some testimonials here from some of them who have previously been and have come repeatedly every year. We have couples who have been with us for 11 years, every year. And men like it because like we mentioned to you, Brother Michael, brothers was like, no, I don't want to come. And then they came and they were like, this is like Savior's Day for my marriage. And they're like, the brothers call in January to find out the dates for the marriage retreats so that they can make sure they get off from work to come and participate.
Oh, that's great.
So for our brothers out there who have been a little trepidatious, come on and enjoy yourself, enjoy your wife, and just have a good time. And most, like I said earlier, most couples who have come with divorce papers on the table, once they have gone through that process and realize that what you were going through, all of these couples, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, we have one couple who have been married 50 years, and they're like, wow, all of y'all have been through this. I can make it. And that's what we want you to know. Fight for your marriage. You can make it. Come on to the marriage retreat and have a good time.
We had Minister Akbar, the international representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in our 4th annual marriage retreat. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan sent our brother to us to help us out. That's how he said it. He told us the first day, I'm here to help y'all out. I'm going to say one day. He stayed the entire marriage retreat. He told us, this is what he said. Now, this is not us saying this is him. He said, I've never seen nothing like you all are doing in my 53 years at that time of being in the Nation of Islam. He said every mosque, every masjid needs what y'all are doing for marriage. That's what he told us, because he saw something. He said he had never seen it in the Nation of Islam. We are determined to help Minister Farrakhan stop divorce in this nation of Islam. We just want the chance to help your marriage. It's $100 per couple for the
Per
4
couple.
days.
For the
It's
4
not a
days.
big price. It's for you.
Right.
This marriage retreat is not for, we're going to benefit from it in terms of the numbers, in terms of the inspiration that we're going to hear. But we're doing it for you, and we want you and your husband. We don't want to know your business.
Mm-hmm.
We are not going to hear one bit of your business. We're asking you to talk about your marriage with each other. That's what you're going to do. The questions that we're going to ask you, we're going to do an assessment of your marriage.
A report card.
And you're going to see how you're doing. Don't you want to know how you're doing in your marriage from your spouse, the one who's with you? Don't you want to know how I'm doing? Well, you're going to find out in just a couple of days how you're doing in your marriage. And it's powerful because we see couples and they're talking to each other. They talking. They say, well, I didn't know I was going to get a grade like that. I didn't know But you know what, though? That's what marriage is.
Yeah.
This year, I got a C. Maybe next year I can bring it to a B. You don't know how you're doing if you don't talk, if you don't ask. That's the biggest problem in relationships today is we don't talk about nothing. We start talking when the lights go out. That's the time that we start talking, baby, I got something to tell you. I want to show you this. I want to do that to you. No, you got to talk the other 23 hours of the day. You got to talk about your marriage. And especially when you got a family. And especially when you got a blended family. There's a lot of communication that must take place in the marriage. And we teach people how to talk to each other and how to talk about the issues of their marriage. We all got them.
That's right.
God knows we all got them. But we can talk about it intelligently. I love what Les Brown said. He said that it does not have to be an argument when you are having a dialogue with each other. We're dialoguing about this, and we tend to act better when we're in front of company. So, sisters, I'm telling you, come on, bring your husband to this. We're telling wives, bring your husband to this. We're telling husband, bring your wife to this.
And you send us an email also so we can send it out to the region just so they'll be
I'll send it to
alerted
you
once
as soon
again.
as we get off this phone, brother.
And I'm happy to hear that it's not too late to join on. We thought,
oh no, it's not too late.
We thought it was closed off, and we weren't sure.
No, sir. Thank you so much, brother minister.
Well, we really thank you all. It sounds powerful, man. I mean, I'm fired up just listening to you all talking about let's go after this thing and let's do it. And I think that when we see commitment more and we see more openness, I think we're doing fantastic just under the conditions that the members of the nation are operating under. But man, we would just be phenomenally better if our homes were empowered in this kind of way.
Yes, sir.
So I'm looking forward to talking with you all again, and maybe what we can do down the road, we might want to have you all back just to talk about. You might want to review your 11th year convention, and then see what kind of remarks came out and everything. But we've got to repair this, because I know the minister has been concerned, and he's expressed it more than once about the high levels of divorce.
Well, if people want counseling, we are available. You can reach us simply by calling 770-256-8856. 770-256-8856. 8856. And if you want more information about the marriage retreat that we're doing on the 11th annual marriage retreat, call that number 770-256-8856.
Yes.
Thank you so much, brothers, for the
Well,
opportunity.
we thank
to be
you
part
all
of
for
your
being with
program.
us, Brother Michael. So, God bless you with it. And I look to hear from you soon. Want to thank all of those listening tonight on the Souls of Black Folk Broadcast. Once again, Brother Marcus, Sister Cecelia, the 11th annual marriage retreat. This is a fight for your marriage.
That's right.
Somebody's out to get it. And you got to act like that. When I first came in the nation and they were teaching me in the check procedure, they said, your attitude is he got something on him and I'm going to find it. That's the attitude you have to have for. So, I mean, if we have an attitude that this society, its culture, it's a wretched culture, it's counterculture to the nature we were created in, it's out to get our marriage and we have to fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thanks, Brother Mike. All right.
Some people think we don't have the right to say it's my country. Before they give in, they'd rather fuss and fight than say it's my country.